going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we are back here with some more CWC 2023 content on this Sunday, and we're bringing a bit of a new concept to the channel, still about cricket, but something a little bit different with the group stages of the World Cup finally coming to a close. Unless you're a part of the Super Fours like the special teams, you've already packed your bags home. England's back to Birmingham, Sri Lanka's back in Colombo, and you know, all the other countries are back wherever they belong. So today we're going to be jumping through the bottom of the table and starting with each country and having a dedicated video where we go through their entire World Cup, all of their stats, their injuries, their most catches, most runs, most fucking wickets, everything you can think of, their upcoming schedules, how their World Cup went, just going into a deep dive on each country in this World Cup and kind of dissecting each situation for each country. So just quietly, just before we do, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title, this is about Sri Lanka, but they haven't actually finished last. I was going to start with the last team, but the Netherlands are playing India today, and I kind of just wanted to get a head start on some of these videos because I know that not all of them are super interesting, right? So India v the Netherlands is today. We're assuming India will win, but, you know, never back down from the Dutch. So if the Dutch do win that, then they wouldn't be last, I believe. So, you know, I just wanted to wait in case, but there's no better place to start. It's more relevant. Sri Lanka cricket team. Let's get into it. I'm not even on the right page where I want it to be. I'm not even prepared. That's poor by me. Sri Lanka. We know the recent events, what's been happening. It's not been a great World Cup. They came into it with so many injuries. They had a horrible preparation leading up to it. It's been a really dark period for this cricketing nation, the country, and I do feel for the fans because they grew up, most of them probably loving the team and all the players and the golden era. It's definitely gone to a bit of a bad turn at the moment. If you don't know, if you've been living under a rock or you just don't pay attention to Sri Lankan cricket team, which is fair enough, they have been suspended by the ICC due to some dodgy higher-up stuff happening. So we don't even know if they're going to play cricket fucking ever again. We may never see Sri Lanka again. I'm sure we will, but you just never know what's going to happen here. We don't know when their next really white ball tournaments will ever be again, and when that will get sorted out. But we are going to start here with their schedule, and let's get straight into it. We're not here to fuck spiders. Sri Lanka, let's talk about their World Cup. It goes deeper than that, actually. I want to start just before where the Asia Cup was. Now, we know it goes even deeper before the Asia Cup. Most of the Sri Lankan players were playing in the Lankan Premier League, their domestic T20 comp. So most of the players didn't have any rest coming into an Asia Cup and then into a massive World Cup. It was horrible scheduling by the Sri Lankan board, but unfortunately we don't expect anything different at the moment. I feel for the players that were dealing with injuries, that, you know, need that money to play in those T20 leagues to make a living because they're not getting paid enough, I assume, by the Sri Lankan team board when they play for the country. So they don't really get a choice not to play in the Lankan Premier League. They then have to go into the international tournaments, and let's talk about it, man. So, look, their Asia Cup wasn't all that bad. They made the final. They did play an amazing game here against Pakistan in the semi. And then they got into the final and things just fucking turned on their head. Now, I won't get into that game for the sanity of Sri Lankan fans, but they did get rolled for 50 by Mohammad Siraj, essentially. So that was not a good day for them. It was a poor display, and essentially it's been downhill from there. Both of their warm-up games, they played Bangladesh in the first one. They go down there. They get bowled out for 263. It's just not great start, but their warm-up games, anything can happen. The second warm-up game they play, what I want to say, people going into this would say one of the weaker nations, Afghanistan. They get beaten on DLS, but you still want to try and win a warm-up game to build some sort of confidence. You're meant to be Sri Lanka, that's a top 6 to 7 nation in cricket, so not ideal, but hey, that's just what happens. Of course, ignore the Asia cricket games, men. These are just the other team that was playing in that random competition in Hangzhou, so ignore that. Getting into the World Cup, their opener against the Proteas. Look, the Proteas were amazing this World Cup. It's still going. They're still a part of the Super Fours, but they've been terrific. So they posted 428. Sri Lanka didn't do too bad, making 326. They weren't going to chase it. I think that was the game where Kusal started on fire as well. And we should talk about their injuries as well. We'll talk about it a bit later, but obviously that had a massive, massive impact. The conditioning of their players. No Hasaranga, no Chamira, I don't think. Shanaka pulled out at some point as well. It was just not great. Thick Shana, I don't even think played the opener either. So they were under a lot of heat. It was not a great start for them. So let's be honest, they've been pounded here by the Proteas, but good try. Into the next match, they play Pakistan in actually one of the better matches early of the World Cup, and unfortunately for them, Pakistan get revenge from the Asia Cup semi-final, and they go down there in a decent game. Look, both teams 340 on Hyderabad surface, not bad, but you're 0-2 to start off. You're not feeling good. And then they come up against Australia, and this was one of the more fascinating games of cricket of this World Cup. No one will remember it after, but as an Aussie, this was our resurgence game. Sri Lanka batted first. They were like 1 for 200 and something early, or like 2 for 200. It was scary times to be an Australian. We were 0-2, and I thought Sri Lanka were about to bury us in the ground. Turns out, reverse psychology. Then they got fucking buried in the ground. You know that meme where the guy then says, someone call an ambulance, but not for me? That was the situation we're going on here. I said 2 for 200 and something. I think they were 1 for 100 and something. So apologies for that. But one for 124, let's say, they then collapse for 209. On Lucknow surface, batting first in the sun. It was a good depth to bat. It was just a piss poor display, brutally, and I know Sri Lankan fans would say the exact same thing. Australia then chased that down, really started our resurgence. I know Zampa had a good game there and, some good, decent bowling, but I know a lot of the wickets were thrown away. I witnessed it with my own bloody eyes, and yeah, so you're 0-3. You had that chance there to steal a big win against opposition there, against a big nation. You can't take that chance. Let's keep going on with it. The Netherlands. So they then play the Netherlands. They then pip a win here in a not a close game, but it'd be a tightish game. You don't mind that. You take the win there. Very happy scenes there. You're on the board. You're 1-3. Anything can happen. And then hold on a minute. We remember this game, of course. England, this was officially... Yeah, I mean, anytime England loses, we all celebrate. So this was one of the great days here in Sri Lankan cricket of recent memories. And so they pump England here. Let's be honest. They pump England. They bowl them out for 156 and they chase it down with 146 balls remaining. I mean, it's just clinical stuff, as good as you're going to get there. So now you've got 2 wins on the trot. You can build towards something. You can build. Coming into this, were we expecting that they were going to make the Super Fours? Probably not. But you've gotten 2 wins, and if my mouse doesn't keep going weird, Sri Lanka v Afghanistan was the next game. They're bowled out for 241, and we know that Afghanistan have been a surprise packet in this World Cup. They win by 7 wickets there with 28 balls remaining. So they do it comfortably enough in the end there. And unfortunately for Sri Lanka, 2-4, it's a long road back from there. They then play India, and essentially this was just a horrible display. I mean, India batted terrific there. I've reviewed this game on my channel, so if you want to go watch my review on this particular game for some reason, which you probably don't, they then got bowled out for 55, and India won by 302. And unfortunately, I think that was the 3rd time that India's done that to them this year in the Asia Cup final, in this game. And I think there was once earlier in the year where India bowled Sri Lanka out for like 60-something. It's just not good enough, fellas. Like, you're professional fucking cricketers. You've got the legacies of guys like Kumar Sangakkara above you, Jaya Wardenay, De Silvas, like Tilkaratne Dilshans, like these legends who have set the platform for these guys. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm not saying that just go out there and score a century. Come on, lads. You got to give us a bit more. There's just sometimes the body language, it looks off. Their fielding has been as average as it gets. So yeah, there's some of the things are just mental aspects and applying yourself, to be brutally honest. And as someone who's a big fan of Sri Lankan cricket, like, I've grown up watching battles between Australia and Sri Lanka as a little kid, and those players I just mentioned battling Australia. So, Haranga, all those guys, Angelo Matthews, who was still playing, all of those guys, legends, Harath, like all of these guys that I remember growing up watching, playing amazing series against Australia in our own backyard. And it's sad to see what's happening to them, and like the West Indies. This is what I relate it back to. The next game was then against Bangladesh. This was quite recent. Obviously, we're catching up to it now, and yeah, they're all out there. And for 279, and just Bangladesh were really, really good. Chased it down really well there. And I know Sri Lankan fans have probably checked out by this point in the tournament. They then play the Kiwis the other night, which, yeah, I'm not even going to get into it because I know it was just another shitty performance. Bowled out for 171. New Zealand chase it down with 160 rocks remaining, and it's just not good enough. But unfortunately, the pressure there under the changing captaincy that they randomly had Shanaka out, Mendez in. Kusal was then given the captaincy. He couldn't hit a damn run to save himself, and they were just, relying on too many guys to have random massive knocks to save them or take massive pulls of wickets to save it. Like, unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. Their highlight of this World Cup would be beating England for mine. That was amazing. So, yeah, shout out to them for that. Let's get into the statistics and then we will wrap this one off. We'll talk about their upcoming schedule, but I don't really know if they're going to be able to play this test series against England in August next year. Who bloody knows what is on the cards for this team and their status. What the hell was that? Ball tampering, right? What the hell is this? What sort of... Anyways, I'll edit that out. Most runs, Sri Lanka getting distracted. Let's go through the stats. This is actually probably the favourite part here. Mara Wikarama, quite good actually. Look, he had a few... Yeah, maybe poor dismissals there, but he leads the runs all here. 9 matches, 2 not outs, 373 runs, a high score of 108, an average of 53. So that's amazing. Batting at, what is he, batting at 3 or 4? I can't remember. Strike rate of 102, which is terrific. Has a century, 2 half centuries. And overall, you make the most runs for your country. It's something to be extremely proud of. And he's not that old either. He's quite young, right? If my knowledge serves me right. Which it may not. So he's 28. So that's a good age for cricket, in my opinion. Nisarka, he was quite good. A lot of 50s. He had 4 50s to his name. Couldn't convert any of them into a ton, but a couple of half centuries is decent, I guess. 9 matches, 332 runs, high score of 77, average of 41. It's solid. Look, for someone who's opening, you don't mind it. It's solid. That's all can be said about it. Mendez now. My man, you guys know I love Kusal Mendez, not one of my all-time favourites, chill, but one of my current day favourites in this Lankan team, and unfortunately, he just fell off a damn cliff. He hit a century to start, he had a century in the warm-up game, he was looking hot, looking good, like he was the man, and then he just fell away once he was given that captaincy, to be honest. 294 runs, high score of 122. Insane that's his high score, and that's how many runs he ended up finishing with. 32 average, and strike rate's nice, but he went out too many times. And you have a look at the not outs there for Kusal, 0. Yeah, unfortunate. Lanka, so decent here. Look, we're not going to deep dive into everyone, but 288 runs there, 36 average. Pereira. But how about this one? I do want to display here. Mahesh Thikshana, the CSK legend, probably got some tips from MS Dhoni. He bats at 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. He's a tail order. He's not expected to ever make runs. Finished with 100 runs, high score of 38 not out, average 25, strike rate of 54, hit 11 fours and a 6. And he saved a bit of their pride in a lot of those games, to be brutally honest. So shout out to Thikshana, into most wickets now. So look, some interesting things in the batting, but honestly, my favourite thing for Sri Lanka comes on this side of it in the most wickets. Dilshan Madhushankar with some of his best career bowling probably ever. 9 matches here. He played 21 wickets. So I think he's equal top leading wicket taker of the tournament, or at least he's in the top 5 wicket takers. So that's an amazing effort for a team that was not very good during. Went for a little bit of tap, but who cares? He took 21 poles, best bowling figures of 5 for 80, average of 25, economy of 6, took 1 four-fer and 1 fifer. Terrific stuff. Give him a clap. And he had some of my favourite dismissals. He bowled Gurbaz with this sexy delivery that cut him in half. And then he did the same to Rohit Sharma. It was this similar delivery. comes in, angles in, and boom, just cuts him in half, takes out a fucking stump, and see you later. So beautiful stuff there, 21 wickets. Rajitha, only the 6 matches, so injury obviously, 8 wickets there. Angelo Matthews, the man is 75. He should not have to do everything still. 6 wickets. Thikshana, 6 wickets. Paddy Rana only played the 2 games. He was poor early and then was never seen again. 2 wickets. Walalagi, only the 3 games. Obviously, I think he got injured at some point too. He was a big bright spark early and, yeah, injured. Chamira, injured as well. Kamara, I think that was Lahiru Kamara. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah, that's unfortunate. So just injuries, just a poor bowling attack, unfortunately, other than Madhu Shankar and just not enough runs. I mean, it sounds simple, but it really is. Cricket can be a simple game when you put it into theory like that. The most catches, De Silva, okay, no one really cares, do they? Asalanka, Pereira, Karunaratne, Mahesh Thikshana. But yeah, just 4 catches there. That's, yeah, I don't know why I brought that statistic up. Into the last thing that we will talk about here for Sri Lanka, and I will wrap this one up. Samara Wikarama and Pathum Nissanka had the biggest partnership for Sri Lanka, 137 runs here. Not out, it says, a 3rd wicket partnership against England, and that was what chased down and won the game. So that was the big highlight for me. Madhu Shankar and that win against England would be the big ones here for Sri Lanka. Pereira, Nissanka, and yeah, you guys can read, you can see all the other numbers there. Well, where's this one? Yeah, so this was the partnership against Australia. 125 runs, first opening wicket partnership against Australia. They were none for 125 and then collapsed for 209. Like, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. They collapse too often. We've seen it too much, and they're missing some balance in the middle order. They need to call up some of the old greats to come back and fill up the middle order again. But yeah, that is essentially going to finish us off here. Probably not the video any Sri Lankan fan would have wanted, or the amount of positivity. I am sorry about that if it seems like I've hung shit on them this entire video, but I just want the best for them. You know, they've had a few highlights, but unfortunately just not to be. So, hey, that will officially cap us off. Sri Lanka, hopefully that test series against England can go ahead soon, play some more red ball cricket, but they do finish 9th, pending on the result of the Netherlands tonight. They could finish 10th. I doubt it though. So probably 9th for them. That is my Cricket World Cup full ranking, dissecting video of Sri Lanka, the deep dive, all of my thoughts on this team and how their World Cup has gone, how their year 2023 has gone, and hopefully some positive things. Hopefully Hasaranga can come back, the little Shaka man, we need him back in action. Walalagi hopefully get fit again, and just get a more consistency. Hopefully they're given the status back to play again, because we need them back. I like Sri Lanka. They have a good rivalry with Bangladesh now, so we need that a part of cricket as well. So hey, that will cap us off. Sri Lankan fans or even neutral fans, comment down below, let me know all of your thoughts on this team. What's next for them? We don't know. I guess we'll all find out. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see everyone in the next one.